Hello, this is RV Vagabond Jerry, and I've made several videos from really unusual type of museums. This is one of my favorite ones. I made a video here about 3.5 years ago, and I checked their website recently, and they have added some new displays and updated some, so I wanted to come back since I'm here in the Houston area. This is on the far north side of Houston, and see what they've put in that is new. So come along with me and I'll show you around the National Museum of Funeral History. This first section is on presidential funerals, and here they have the actual presidential funeral hearse that was used for Reagan and Ford. They have a section here just about President Bush. And you see this model of a train. That train was a real train, and it was driven from Spring to College Station for the funeral. In this room, they have a display of President Lincoln. You see that casket with the 4 bars, grab bars there. Here is a miniature of the Lincoln funeral proceedings, and there is the actual casket model with the 4 grab bars, and followed with a train car. And this is an identical casket that was used for Reagan, and this one for Kennedy, the exact same model casket. Now this is one of the classiest hearse I've seen. That what looks like a curtain is actually a wood carving from 1921. Man, how gorgeous is that? And this is a horse-drawn sleigh hearse from the late 1800s. Here's a 29 Studebaker hearse. And look at the artwork on this one. The Japanese hearse. And here's the rear. They've got several more really old hearses. This one is from 1860. Here's a 1973 Mercedes. And there are some people who have wanted some really customized caskets because of whatever special interest they had, or maybe related to their career. I'm guessing this guy was a fisherman. And look at these crab caskets. There's where you go, right in there. I don't know where they would bury these. And look at this bird. Maybe you like leopards or bulls, whatever you want. You can have a customized, one-of-a-kind casket made. This might have been a pilot for KLM. And if you worked on a fishing canoe, you might want a casket like this. Why not? If that's what you did in your career, and you would expect Louis XVIII to have a very, very classy hearse pulled by 2, 4, 6, 8 horses. And I'm sure you've heard of Dia de los Muertos that Mexico is famous for. You can pick up some of the Mexican souvenirs based on the Day of the Dead at various places. Apparently a pope's coffin is a very plain conservative style. Look at this big makeup. They have big room here. But then the funeral proceedings are a major event. Look at all those people. And guess who's most famous for embalming? Look at this. Tells about the tombs and pyramids. And they had a different god for everything. This guy's getting the Egyptian treatment. And they've got a collection of embalming fluids. Various embalming tools here. Have you ever noticed how comfortable the inside of a casket looks? Wow. This one looks a lot more lively. Very nice work. Have you ever seen a funeral bus? For a lot of the mourners to sit in, to go to the gravesite. Wow, a whole bus full of people. How about that? Here's a casket and hearse from the Italian Renaissance. Let's look at the side of it. Some more wooden artwork here. This is what the Italian Renaissance hearse is. And next to that is a two-tone green, 1926. This green one is very nice. And a display on the history of cremation as well. And this room has some displays of some of the celebrities, like Bob Hope, Elvis Presley, Charles Lindbergh, Marlon Brando, Elizabeth Taylor, Michael Jackson, Lucille Ball, Kobe Bryant, and a lot of others in here. All sorts of nice displays. Actors from various westerns. You might have heard about the 27 Club of all of these famous musicians, all of whom died at the age of 27. Seems to be kind of a curse age for rock musicians especially. And about the final frontier. Gene Roddenberry, James Doohan, and one of the astronauts, Neil Armstrong, Sally Ride, and the space shuttle Columbia. Many more pieces of memorabilia displayed in this room. There's an 1862 horse-drawn hearse, 1900, a hearse for children, and the children's hearses tend to be white, is tradition, and black for adults. I think the children are considered much more innocent than we adults. 1940 LaSalle, 1935 Studebaker, and this gray one is a 1951 Cadillac and a 1939 LaSalle. And the back of the LaSalle has, instead of a regular casket, they have a basket case. I like that color, the gray. I've already picked mine out, which is burgundy. This one is covered in glass. I got a prepaid funeral plan many years ago because you never know when you might need it. Don't want to leave things up to the family to decide what to do with you. Now this is a special display they put in about New Orleans funeral parades. They've got one going on the video there. They're a little more lively, I think, than your average funeral. Not such a somber event in New Orleans. Got a display here on Pete Fountain. Oh, and look at this umbrella or parasol. Now that is a classy parasol. This tells about it. Now this is an unusual hearse. The back of it is like a convertible, but not really. The casket is here. This is where they put it in the back. I don't recall seeing a hearse design like that before. Here's a casket that somebody built themselves with rare coins on the side. Guess he had some leftover money. Got to do something with it. Guess what this is? It's a casket for 3 people. A husband and wife and their child. You don't see those very often. And this shows the story about why the casket was made like that. And here they've got a mock-up of a casket making shop with all the various tools here. The hardware that goes with it. And there's some tips to have a good life. Here's another display on casket making. Well, folks, if this kind of interests you, then when you're in Houston, I would recommend that you take a half a day and come out and see the funeral museum. There are a whole lot of people in the museum today. Look at that big group of people they got picked today for everybody to come in to see the museum. Here's a tribute to the police and firefighters. And they have one of the bagpipes used in the proceedings. Well, I hope you find this interesting to see the caskets and hearses and other related things. I think it's an excellent display of funeral history. And they have a gift shop too. Good day, folks.